Hello everyone and welcome to Mindful Moment Crochet. Today we are going to be talking about blocking. Now, primarily this is done with something like a sweater, a blanket, a larger project, but I have these adorable little coasters. We have some big mugs in our house, so you're going to see that these all kind of cup. That doesn't look like what I want it to. I want it to lay flat. And the only way I'm going to get that cup look out of it is by blocking it. Now, my coasters are made out of cotton yarn, so you can steam block it. Today we're going to be doing the wet blocking method, and it's kind of up to you on how much water you want to use, but I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, I have repurposed my yarn bowl temporarily to use just to have a little bit of water here for us. And I'm going to start by laying out my towel on top of my blocking board. So we have water, we have a blocking board, we have a towel. Of course, we have our things that we want to block. And then we have a couple different options on T-pins to help us block into our board. Or you can use these blocking pins. Mine are from Hobie, and I think these can be fun to use if you're going to have a big project, but I just wanted to show them to you because they go down the side of a project. And these, if I can get them out here, there we go. I do like to leave them all together so they don't just fall out, but I do like these because you can actually put them like down the side and kind of hold the side out, but we'll talk about that once we're ready for these. Okay, so we have our supplies, we have our pins, we have our materials, we have some water. Let's get started. So I'm going to start with this little one right here. I'm just going to get it pretty wet. There's not a lot of material here, so you don't just have to like really soak it. I think it will be fine without doing that. And then you don't want to twist. You don't want to start twisting your yarn. It will deform all of your hard work, which is not ideal. And again, you can also use the steam blocking method, which is essentially going to be starting by putting it on the board, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So I'm going to take my now fully saturated coaster, and you can see it already is laying flatter. It's kind of flopping over my hand. And I'm just going to roll up and squeeze. Again, we're not twisting. We don't want to do anything funky. All right. So now it's solidly damp, okay? It's not wet, it's not soaking. It's definitely not dripping. And we will move our towel off of our blocking board. Now, what's nice about most blocking boards that you'll find is that they have a grid, and these are usually about an inch. So you can tell how big you're making something. Now, these are hexagons. So I'm going to start by pulling out my corners. And then from here, I'm actually going to go up so I can make it a little bit taut. And pin. And again, I don't want to stretch it. I just want to kind of pull it enough to open up. You can see it over here. You can see the nice shape. You can see the holes that make the hexagon shape. Over here, it's kind of collapsed. It almost looks like a circle, and that's not what it's not what I crocheted. I crocheted in hexagon. So let's get the hexagon back. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing this one needs to lay just a touch flatter. There we go. And we'll put one over here. Again, we're not pulling. We don't want to deform it. We just want to kind of pull it taut, not tight, if that makes sense. Now for little projects like this, I could certainly leave it and it would be totally fine for this. This is just a little guy. He will dry fast, no harm, no foul. But if you were doing something that's bigger, you're doing a blanket, you don't want your corners to kind of flare out and have that bow in the middle of your project. So what you would do with these, and there are a couple different sizes of them, usually if you're buying blocking pins, and so you can see you could really get some distance. I think they're twice as long. So it's up to you on what size your project is and what you need to use and how many pins you're comfortable with to make sure that your project ends looking correctly. But I'm just going to take it, and again, not stretching it, just kind of pulling it back into place. There we go. And again, what I'm showing here is definitely overkill for, I'll say just a coaster. This was kind of a fun thing to make last night. And if you want a tutorial on it, let me know in the comments, because I think they're adorable. And you can do it with fun colors. This is the yarn held double, and it makes kind of a fun, funky pattern. But you can certainly go around just like this. But again, this is probably overkill. I think those T-pins would be plenty. There you go. That is what blocking looks like. Again, a bit much on this project, but not too bad at all. And it doesn't take very long. Now you do want to let this dry completely, so I would suggest at least 24 hours if it's a denser yarn, or even if it's held double. You just really want to make sure it's dry before you put it on top of furniture or anything like that, so that you're not getting stuff wet, moldy, gross, whatever. And the yarn is going to want to go back to whatever shape it's in once it dries. And so you take it off and it shrinks back down. It shouldn't, to be fair. That's the point of blocking it, is to help it keep its shape. But if you just need a little extra support, make sure it dries all the way. So again, this is a bigger one, and you do it anyways. So we'll just grab it. And now that I'm not talking we're kind of going slowly to do the full tutorial this time, I'll kind of show you how quick it can go. Perfect. All right, so just kind of glancing at this, hopefully you can see through on the blue, but blocking just kind of really helps to open up, especially around the edge, so that it lays nice and flat, and so that you can start to see the design come back through on your project. And I think it just makes it look a little more finished, and especially if you were going to do this with something like a sweater or a cardigan or a blanket, you're going to actually make it fit you. So a lot of times when you finish a project, you follow the pattern perfectly, you put it on, and you're like, I'm apparently preparing for the flood. And It's not a good time. The arms are too short. I'm disappointed. I don't like it. Try blocking it first. See if you can get out another inch or two in a sleeve or another inch or two in the body, either the width or the length, and then see if it fits you better. So if you haven't heard of blocking, or you're starting to make garments, or you even just want your house goods to lay flat and not be a little bowl, I would definitely try out blocking. It makes it super easy to see your pattern come back to life, help your fabrics either drape a little bit easier, lay a little flatter, and just kind of come back to life the way you wanted it to. So, and this is a fun thing. Put on some music, stick some pins in depending on how big your project is, and enjoy your evening. As always, like, subscribe, and let me know if there's anything else I can help you with in the comments.